There's a,
Last week, I guess.
I'd like to call this meeting to order. Clerk Kirkman, would you please read the statement?
This is the meeting of the Vernon Township Council for Monday, October 27, 2014. Adequate notice of this meeting has been provided to the public and to the press on January 8, 2014, and was posted on the bulletin board in the municipal building, all in accordance with the Open Public Meetings Act, NJSA 10:4-7.
Please call the roll.
Councilmember Kadesh?
Here.
Councilmember Murphy?
Here.
Councilmember Rizzuto?
Here.
Councilmember Wetzel?
Here.
Council President Lynch?
Here. Will you all join me with a salute to the flag?
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
We have a motion to open the floor to public comments.
so move.
Motion made by Councilmember Kadesh. Can I have a second?
Second.
Second by Councilmember Wetzel. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? The floor is open. Anybody wish to speak? Seeing that no one is coming forward to speak, may I have a motion to close the floor?
Moved.
Motion made by Councilmember Rizzuto. Can I have a second?
Second.
Second by Councilmember Murphy. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Mayor's report.
Yes, thank you, Mr. President. Let me start the report this evening by announcing to you and to the community that Breakneck Road was opened at 5:30 this afternoon. The striping has been done. The project is not 100% complete. We still have to put the reflectors in the stripes. We also have some guardrail that needs to be repaired. That will be done shortly, though.
I have to say what a fantastic job was done on Breakneck Road. There's a turning lane now down at the bottom, going on to 515. The creeping lane and the passing lane going up Breakneck is an adequate space for two cars to actually travel. What a great job was done there.
Well, I think our engineer needs to be recognized for his
Absolutely.
work, as well as the contractors, and of course, I think a thanks is in order to the New Jersey Department of Transportation for their help in funding the project. At the present time, all the numbers are not in, but we will be bringing it in under the projection that we had anticipated. And so I'd rather not quote a final figure, but $200,000 of about a $500,000 project was funded by NJDOT, so I'd like to recognize their participation. The second thing I'd like to report to the council is that earlier this year, the New Jersey League of Municipalities offers the opportunity to every community to submit their nomination for an award called Innovation in Local Government. And this past year, we did that for Vernon. We submitted a proposal to consider the video conferencing and video arraignments that occur so that, in fact, prisoners who have been put in the Sussex County Jail, we don't have to send police officers to Newton on overtime to pick them up and bring them here and stay with them. We do it all by video conferencing. That project in 2012 cost Vernon Township a total of $13,000 for the hardware, the software, the hard line to the jail. In its first year in existence, we estimated that it saved us somewhere close to $50,000, and a cumulative total over the last 2 years of close to $75,000 to $80,000, based upon the number of people that our police department had lodged in the county jail. The winner this year was Princeton Borough and Princeton Township for their merging. And of course, that's something really, really big in the state. But to have an honorable mention, I think, goes well to our court and to Donna Zeidema and Judge Devine. We have been recognized by AOC, the Administrative Office of the Courts, continually over the last 3 years for having a superior, outstanding municipal court. And this award just adds to that legacy. So we're real proud of it. The last part of my report, I'd like to have a distribution that I want to make, if I may.
Thank you.
Placed before you is a bill from Shank Price, which is the legal firm of our special counsel, John Urson. My reason for bringing it to your attention, as you can see, there is a highlighted expenditure that I cannot pay at the present time since I didn't authorize it, and I checked the minutes, it hasn't been authorized. So I would ask the council to consider a resolution so that we can resolve this, please.
I have a question. This is what you were referring to a couple meetings ago, Brian? At the end of the council comments, you said something about council persons having secret meetings? Is that what you were referring to?
No,
Oh.
but it's sure evident here.
So you're suggesting that Mr. Kadish and I met with John Urson as a secret meeting?
I didn't know about it.
I didn't think I had to report it to you.
You don't have to report it to me, but it would have been nice to have the information.
For what purpose? If you'd like to report your whereabouts to the mayor every second of the day, you go right ahead, but that's not happening with me.
If I was to go and spend $300, I certainly would call the mayor before I did it.
Well, you know, I
That
actually...
is, just let me finish my response.
Certainly.
This isn't the first time that the town has had to spend money for you,
Oh.
having a secret meeting.
Oh, really? Secret meetings. I like that. Would you like to rephrase your secret meetings, that you would hold quorums after meetings with
I don't
other
know what you're
council
talking
persons?
about.
Go back to May 12th.
I don't know what you're talking
Yeah, well,
about.
why don't you refresh your memory?
Well, I didn't charge anybody $300.
Well, you know what? I was elected to this council, and if I have to get information in order to do business in this town, and this has to do with the water park, I'm certainly going to go and get it.
I don't think
Without-
there's any reason why this type of a meeting should be withheld from the council. But what troubles me is that the meeting of August 11th, where the issue was tabled, I believe at your request or Mr. Kadish's request and seconded by you, Mr. Urson was in attendance specifically to address the issue of the water park, which would have also provided knowledge to myself, Councilman Lynch, Council President Lynch, and Councilman Wetzel. But 3 days later, both of you chose to go and expend $300, which is really admittedly not a very big amount of money, but to have a private meeting with the attorney, and chose not to bring it back to us, where previously you've had meetings with the Board of Education in a committee, and you've chosen to bring it back as a committee report to us, which was appreciated.
Well, that's because I'm a liaison. But
I just don't understand then, why was it necessary to
in order to educate and get as much information as possible in order to be able to make a good decision on voting. Unlike you, who refuse to ask questions, I ask them.
Well, on the contrary, I think the questions could have been asked at the open meeting, which would have been beneficial to myself, the other council members, and certainly to the members of the public at large.
That's your opinion, and you're entitled to it.
I think it's common sense. That's not a question of being confrontational or contentious.
Well, you know, if you'd like to speak about, I actually found this invoice to be quite amusing myself, because the first item on here was research regarding affidavit and issue on petition. I didn't realize that this council or the town hired Mr. Urson's firm for anything other than a conflict attorney. I thought that those were items that our council, Mr. Kelly, was handling. Now, and that was a $300 charge. So it's very clear to me that there's expenses being expended to Mr. Urson's firm without it being
We're
properly...
not going to obfuscate the situation
Oh,
here
I see.
and
That's
talk
right.
No, we'll
That-
talk about after this. You can talk
can-
about that after we get done
Well, let me
talking
tell you
about
something.
your secret meeting
It's not a
with the
secret
attorney.
meeting.
You called that meeting, and you did not let anybody else know, not even the other council member that voted with you to table that ordinance.
For what purpose?
Exactly.
Exactly, for
That's what
what
we want to
purpose?
know. For what purpose
Because
did
I
you
wanted
ask?
to get information, just like when I have. when I
Why
like to
didn't
get
you
in-
ask any other
don't need
council
to
member?
ask you, and if I'd like
Why
to-
didn't you inform any other council member of the information that you had? Maybe that information would have been a lot better
You don't listen
than you
to
asking.
anything.
You're not listening right now.
I'm not listening to
And you were
you
asking
ever.
questions in that work session as if you didn't know anything. And you were asking the developer questions on the ordinance that had nothing to do with the developer and had everything to do with us. You laugh? I would be
do laugh.
uncomfortably
I
laughing too
do
right now
laugh
if
at
I were you.
And you want to know why? Because if that ordinance had nothing to do with the developer, why was it written specifically for the developer?
Okay, keep changing the subject.
You just brought it up. Obviously, you were well rehearsed with this, that you were already prepared for this meeting, weren't you?
I did not rehearse for
Get
anything.
out of here.
No.
You certainly did.
Excuse me, you get out of here.
You know
Common
what?
sense. Why did we duplicate a charge? We were charged for Mr. Urson's presence at the meeting of August 11th. Am I correct, Mayor? And then for the meeting of August 14th with the two council people, we were charged again.
I guess you were.
It was a duplication of.
Well, actually, often when we have meetings and we ask questions, the mayor seems to always interrupt and actually lead the council and you over there as to how you should answer and how you should perform. If you think he's going to coach me on how I'm going to respond, that's not happening. He can do it to you, but not me.
You don't need me, you have Sally.
No, of course, of course. And that's exactly it. That's your behavior.
No, it's your.
Okay.
What a great mayor we have. You act like a child.
What is the council's wish with paying this bill?
I am not about to let the township's credit, good faith and credit be endangered by denying a $300 bill. I would hope that people take from this that, it's, if you're going to do it, common sense, just common courtesy would ask that you say that you consult council president, bring this to the attention of the council, and move from there. We don't go individually on our own as mavericks to meetings and try and develop agendas of our own. So on that basis, I would not oppose payment.
Is there a motion to pay this bill?
I'll move it.
Motion made by Councilmember Rizzuto. Can I have a second?
I'll second it.
Second made by Councilmember Kadesh. Please call the roll.
Councilmember Cadish?
Yes.
Councilmember Murphy?
Yes.
Councilmember Rizzuto?
Of course.
Councilmember Wetzel?
The House divided cannot stand, and right now, it's quite obvious that we are divided over this issue and many other issues. And I would say I will not vote for paying it.
Council President Lynch?
A simple phone call could have alleviated this whole discussion. Yes, pay the bill.
Thank you. That concludes my report.
Okay, items for discussion this evening. Best practices inventory form provides the township's response to Trenton's inquiry about our fiscal administrative policies. Trenton utilizes this form in calculating the final 5% payment of state aid. The form provides time in the agenda for the council to discuss any questions about it. Are there any questions or discussion about the best practices? Okay, since we don't have any questions or discussion, I'll move on to the consent agenda. Resolution 14178, authorizing the award of contract for a container service at the township's Public Works and Animal Control. The township is in need of having containers removed from the DPW and Animal Control. This resolution authorizes the award of contract for this project. Resolution 14179, total disabled veteran, 100% total disabled veterans are entitled to have their property taxes eliminated. This resolution authorizes the cancellation of taxes for 2014 for a totally disabled veteran. Resolution 14-180, a resolution authorizing the award of professional services contracts for the preparation of 2 appraisals to Green Acres standards of property known as Block 82, Lot 8 in the Township of Vernon. The township is interested in acquiring Block 82, Lot 8, known as Camp Sussex. This resolution authorizes the township to go forward with the award of professional services contract with the 2 appraisers for a Green Acres standard appraisal. Resolution 14-181, the authorization to endorse a treatment works approval, TWA, application to the New Jersey Department of Environmental Protection for an on-site wastewater and disposal system alteration, Block 14203, Lot 1. Village Way is in the process of reconstructing its multi-unit septic system. Pursuant to DEP regulations, prior to receiving final approval, the township must endorse the plan. The plan has been reviewed by the County Health Department, the Township Engineer, and the Sewer Authority, and there are no objections. Resolution 14-182, resolution amending Resolution 14-167, authorizing fireworks to be displayed on December 9th, 2014, within the Township of Vernon. The township had originally scheduled their fireworks display to be held on December 10th. However, a conflict has arisen with that date. Therefore, the township has moved the event to December 9th. This resolution authorizes the change in date. May I have a motion to adopt Resolutions 14-178 through 14-182?
So moved.
Motion made by Councilmember Rizzuto. Can I have a second?
I'm looking to remove one of these.
Can I have a second? And we'll remove it, no problem. Can I have a second?
I'll second it.
Which one do you want to remove?
Would be 14-180.
All in favor of all resolutions except 14-180, please signify, please call the roll.
Councilmember Cadish?
Yes.
Councilmember Murphy?
Yes.
Councilmember Rizzuto?
Yes.
Councilmember Wetzel?
Yes,
Council President Lynch?
Okay, can I have a motion to bring Resolution 14-180 to the floor?
Move.
Can I have a second?
Second.
Okay, questions?
Well, on this resolution, just wanted to clarify, this is so we could in fact get money from the Land Conservancy that they're attempting to provide Vernon Township for purchase.
No. This is, in order for us to accept the donation that's been proffered by the Land Conservancy, their requirement is that this entire transaction be carried out to the standards of a Green Acres purchase. And in fact, as I reported to the council at the last meeting, they have, as part of their consultation with Vernon Township, offered to do, in fact, all of the due diligence in terms of the RFPs, in terms of all of the things that are required. That's where these 2 proposals came from. They were managed by the Land Conservancy, not by my office. And in fact, these were the 2 low bidders, or low quoters is a better term. But we're not doing this so that we can get the money. We are doing this so that we know what the land is worth, and we can proceed in an intelligent way as to whether or not we're going to be able to purchase the land or not.
Well,
This is the first step.
how did they come about, how will they come about putting their number forward with all the buildings there?
I'm sorry, I didn't hear you.
With all the buildings there, how will they assess that?
All I
They're
can
going to
tell, I'm
assess
not an
it?
assessor. All I can tell you is that all of the people that are on the list of the Land Conservancy as appraisers meet a certain certification process required by the state for Green Acres.
Will they assess the value of the buildings?
I, again, cannot answer that.
In the first RFP, it says intended users, the Land Conservancy of New Jersey,
That's because they're the people who requested the RFP.
NJDEP/Green Acres, and the Township of Vernon. So according to this, they're appraising this as if Green Acres is going to be a participant.
That's exactly right. That's what I said last week. 2 Green Acres standards.
No, that isn't what this says.
It is what it says.
No, it says intended users, Land Conservancy, Green Acres, and the Township of Vernon.
And that's in the proposal from the appraiser.
Yes.
Okay.
And you were going to find out from them whether or not it was state money or private money, or whether it would be treated like a state park.
I don't remember you requesting that to be found out. When did you do that?
The last meeting, I asked if it was state money or private money,
And the answer was
What-
it's Land Conservancy.
and
money.
whether or not, and money coming from them, how does that designate the park?
It
As a
has
town
no-
park?
No, it does not. My understanding is that it does not hold us to opening that property to anybody who wants to walk on it.
And you were able to provide us information showing that there's over $200,000, or there'll be a tax certificate prepared as of December 1st?
Actually, the process is, up until December 1st, the present owners have the option of paying that money to the township. If they do not, then on December 1st, when Vernon Township holds its tax certificate sale, that piece of property will be included in the sale.
Right.
That's the requirement of state law.
So you think it's fine for us to go ahead and expend money out of the open space fund while they owe us up to $200,000?
Absolutely.
Will this appraisal be used to perhaps adjust the tax assessment?
I would assume, and this is an assumption, I have not discussed this with the owners, but I would assume that they will be looking, if they pay the taxes, first of all, there can't be a tax appeal unless the taxes are current. If they pay the taxes and bring them current, then I would assume that they would want to do an appeal. They will not be able to use our documentation, although they may call it into question in a court situation or before the tax board. They would have to get their own appraisals done.
Do you know who put that number, that assessment on the camp originally when it was brought to
It
assessment?
was long before I came.
No, I know. I was just wondering if it was because it would have most likely either the reval company or an appraiser would have put that number on that.
I think it would be a fair guess to say that that number came out of the reval that was done, I believe, 2008. Okay? But I couldn't swear to that.
Because when they're in arrears with taxes, we still have to, that's where the money comes from. We have to end up still paying our school and county taxes, even though they're not paying.
Well, that's what the tax certificate process is designed to do, to generate the cash to the township, and the people who buy the tax certificates, in fact, pay the taxes pay the amount of the tax to.
And that's if somebody feels the risk to pick it up at this point. But I guess it's the uncollected taxes. So in 2013, when they didn't pay their taxes, we as taxpayers actually had to pay that money out to the school board
Yes.
or the county based on that.
$2.6 million reserve for uncollected taxes that is part of our budget every year.
I realize.
It's 10%.
It's tax money. It's taxpayer money. I
Yes,
realize
no
that.
doubt
But I'm
about
just saying is the fact that they're not paying their taxes and they are in arrears by a substantial amount. Yeah. We pay. I have no more questions.
Hey, you spent $100,000
Any-
on a freaking lawsuit.
Any other questions? Please call, the motion was made by Councilmember Rizzuto and second by Councilmember Murphy. Can I please call the roll?
Actually, I have Councilmember Cadish made the motion.
He did?
No.
No, I did.
Councilmember Cadish,
No.
Councilmember Murphy,
No.
Councilmember Rizzuto,
Yes.
Councilmember Wetzel,
Yes.
Council President Lynch.
Yes. Introduction for the first reading of a proposed ordinances. An ordinance to amend the Highlands Land Use Ordinance 1409. This is ordinance 1419. An ordinance to amend the Highland Land Use Ordinance 1409. Ordinance 1419 comes to us as a result of a review of ordinance 1409 by our planner and the codifier. Sections of the original ordinance were eliminated or changed, and this ordinance ensures that these changes are carried throughout the rest of the ordinance. May I have a motion to introduce the ordinance 1409 with a public hearing to be held on December 22nd? The meeting will be held on December 22nd because the Land Use Board is not likely to meet again until December 10th, and this has to go through them for a review. May I have a motion?
So moved.
Motion made by Councilmember Rizzuto. Can I have a second?
Second.
Second by Councilmember Wetzel. Please call the roll.
Councilmember Kadesh?
Yes.
Councilmember Murphy?
Yes.
Councilmember Rizzuto?
Yes.
Councilmember Wetzel?
Yes.
Council President Lynch?
Yes.
Carries.
There are no second readings. Tonight, we have a council appointment. May I have a motion to appoint Phyllis Pfeiffer to the vacant seat created by Mr. Tanfield's resignation, which will expire on 2/10/19?
Mr. President, if I may interrupt, it's to replace Mrs. Barbara Horzeppa, who was a full member of the commission.
And what was her,
Didn't we already move Tanfield up to that?
We had moved Tanfield there? Okay, then it is for Tanfield. I apologize.
that's what I was,
All right, I apologize.
may I have a motion?
I'll make that motion.
Motion made by Councilmember Rizzuto. Can I have a second?
Second.
Second by Councilmember Wetzel. Please call the roll.
Councilmember Kadesh?
Yes.
Councilmember Murphy?
Yes.
Councilmember Rizzuto?
Yes.
Councilmember Wetzel?
Yes.
Council President Lynch?
Yes.
Motion carries to appoint vacant seat.
As noted, I just want to make a public statement about the MUA had sent me a letter that they are looking for candidates for the alternate positions right now, and they have 2 open spots. We currently have somebody that is going to be applying for it, I believe, and when that person comes forward, we'll see that application when it comes. Councilmember Wetzel, do you have any comments?
Just remember, this Saturday, change your clocks, and daylight saving time comes to an end, and as Council President Lynch would say, also change the batteries in your fire detectors,
And carbon monoxide detectors, too.
carbon monoxide.
Councilman
I have no comments.
Kadish?
Ditto.
Councilman Murphy?
Well, I guess I'd like to go back to that invoice. And I'd just, again, like to reiterate that there was $300 expended on research for John Urson's firm to research a petition. Now, that firm was hired as our conflict attorney, not as town council, which is what Kevin Kelly is. So what would that be for? What, we didn't get one answer we liked from Kevin Kelly, so let's go research it at another firm? Just saying. So that's, by the way, if you gentlemen could take notice to the $300 charge on the top of that invoice.
Well, I don't
Which-
know. I wonder, to me, if a petition isn't really a conflict. I mean,
No, I think it was...
it's obvious
Yeah,
that the council stood in
yeah.
opposition to a particular point of view.
Obviously it is, but it's with hiring of the professional.
Well, I mean, you said he's our conflict attorney, so
He-
we in fact
yeah.
employed the use of a conflict
Well,
attorney.
which
I don't
brings
see anything
brings
wrong
me
with it.
actually back to John Urson, because Mr. Kelly did some research for us on the work sessions and regular meetings, because one of my issues that I've had is the fact that Resolution 1402 was altered after we voted on it on January 2nd.
I object to the term altered, because to me, that means somebody did something fallaciously, and I don't think that's the correct term. Knowing our past council, our clerk, our township clerk, I could only say that there was probably an error, that the one statement was issued to the council, and another one was submitted for publication, and when it was caught, it was changed. To say that there was an alteration immediately puts it on the basis of wrongdoing. And perhaps that fits into your, I need to investigate this further frame of mind. It doesn't appear that way to me. It appears that somebody just made a mistake.
If you went back and you actually researched the emails you received from Ms. Nelson, it would have showed you that we received an amended copy, which she left on the dais for us that day. If you don't keep track of your paperwork, I can't help that. I keep track of,
do.
excuse me?
I just don't
I
happen to
keep-
think that this
I-
is such a big deal. You're
Well,
making a mountain out of a
well, then
molehill.
let's get to the big deal.
Okay.
Here's the big deal.
What's the big deal?
Mr. Kelly did some research. And what, I believe that case law, what it came out with is, was it Jackson or Lakewood? And it came out with that when you post your resolution on January 1st or within the first 7 days for your schedule of meetings, whether they're called regular meetings, work sessions, conferences, if you put out a resolution, you must state that if you're planning on taking action, that action to be taken. Was that correct, Mr. Kelly?
Yes.
Okay, so when our resolution was issued, it stated on there that only regular meetings, we would only take action in regular meetings. Now, Sue Nelson emailed, that was the one that we voted on, she emailed that to the New Jersey Herald at 1:10 PM on January 2nd. 11 minutes later, she emailed the altered one. Now, you say it's not altered, it was changed. We didn't vote on the change except in the minutes, and it was posted. But the fact remains that January 6th, just a few days later, we voted on John Urson's contract at a work session that was tabled on January 1st. So does that mean that his contract is not valid?
No, because I believe every work session also comes with the statement prior to the meeting notice that official action may be taken.
But that's not what the case law says.
Read into the issue, it's read into the minutes, and it's read into the,
Case law says it needs to be on the resolution in the beginning of the
Murphy
year.
has graduated from law school, so listen,
Your bullying does not scare me.
I'm not bullying you.
Yes, you
I'm just
are.
listening to the crap that's coming out of your
I
mouth.
read the
Yes, you
same
are.
material that you read it. I don't happen to believe it reads that way.
Mr. Kelly,
To me, I
does it
read it
say it's
as
supposed to be on
any
there?
meeting that's held can be considered a regular meeting.
Then I suggest you reread it. I suggest you reread it, because that was what was the statement at the bottom, that it needed to be noticed on the resolution. Regardless of what you call the meeting, you need to document on that resolution. So once again, those three little words were added. And as a matter of fact, you, Mr. Rizzuto, was the one that said you had no problem with it, and you thought we should just accept it the way it was. Frankly, if somebody showed me that there was a document that was changed, I'd at least have a question as to why.
So do you believe we
Action may be
should
taken.
press charges or start a legal investigation as to why this was done?
No,
Surreptitiously done so that there was wrongdoing and we should go after this person?
no, but you know what? When you vote on something, that's what it stays. You don't go and you alter the document later on to fit your means. And that's what happened.
Who altered it?
I don't know. You tell me. You were council president. You
Don't
set the
know.
agenda. You talked to the clerk.
Nope.
That was
Are
in
you
January.
accusing me of altering
You
it?
just asked me who did.
No, but are you accusing me of it?
No, I said to you, you're
It's a
the
good
council
thing.
president. Oh, it's a good thing. What are
Yep.
you going to do?
Oh, don't
Bully me
June.
again? Oh, bully me again? I'm so scared.
Oh, stop whining. Stop your whining.
Oh,
This is a council, not this is not a
and now,
meeting or something.
Now,
and now Mr. Wetzel would like to chime in with
you
the
have,
bullying.
do you have any other comments?
Oh, yes, I do, as a matter of
Okay.
fact.
All right.
Let's see.
Yourself.
Oh, keep them to myself. That's nice. That's real nice, Mr.
You're opposed
Wetzel.
to everything that we try to do.
You're absolutely incorrect. Just because you sit there and nod with acceptance to everything that is told to you, that's fine.
That's not true.
Well,
then it's also true that you nod no to everything.
Not necessarily.
Well, me neither.
Yep. So anyway, I'd just like to mention to you that in those meetings, the minutes from September 22nd, Council President Lynch indicated some council members should not have private meetings without the other members' knowledge. I just wanted to point out that that was what you said at that meeting, as accusing people of having private meetings. So I would actually now just go on the record to say that on May 12th, yes, it's going back a few months, after the initial presentation of Camp Sussex, 3 of you were at a local establishment, and that was not proper, and it shouldn't be done again.
Excuse me, was any decision
No,
made?
she was speaking to me. I can answer. When they take the stars and stripes off the flag pole and put the hammer and sickle up there, that's where I won't go to places and be told where I can and can't be.
Yep.
I could go to any place I want to. I could sit in any establishment I want to, whether you like it or not.
I don't care what establishment you sit in. but
Then why are you making note of it then?
Because you're accusing people of having
You
secret
should stop
meetings.
stalking me.
Oh, yeah. That would be the day.
Yeah, it looks like you
Kelly,
did.
Question.
Uh,
On an open meeting situation, is it against the law for members of the council to convene at any time in a number greater than a quorum for any reason? Or do they have to just avoid discussing issues and coming to a decision?
Pat, you used the word convene. If people get together, an effective majority of the governing body, but not for the purpose of conducting any business
Right.
or discussing any business, that does not violate the Open Public Meetings Act.
Thank you.
If I got your question correct.
it.
So if they were discussing Camp Sussex, then that could have been a violation, right?
If the council was doing that, I would think so, yeah.
Thank you.
Okay, is there any other comments? I'd just like to state that when council members accuse other council members of not providing information and making sure that when they go on the electronic media and make statements that they're not getting information, and then they withhold information from the rest of the council, and they sit at the end of the dais and laugh about it, it proves you're a hypocrite. Thank you. Motion
I don't
adjourned.
have any idea what you're talking about.
All in favor?
Aye.
I